Welcome again to another episode on Dopamine Dialogues. I am Sarika Richard and I am blessed today to have Tamara Carter with me again, just to unpack some of the themes that were coming out in the episodes and the feedback that we got from that. And also extremely blessed to have my soul sister, friend, Sinazo. We've known each other for
many years.
We were pregnant with each other's, not with each other.
No.
With our daughters.
Yes.
Our own daughters.
Yes.
Together.
Yeah.
And you've just been there with me through many life changes and transformations. And what I appreciate about our friendship is that it has never been judgmental. You've always just embraced whatever space and journey I was in and always been open to my transformation, I guess. So, welcome.
Thank you, sis.
And I'm going to now give you an opportunity to tell us who you are.
Thank you, sis. Honored to be here. I think it's just such a privilege to share space with you ladies. I remember the first time that maybe when we started being friends way back, and I was acting in a kind of more senior role for a little bit of time. And I just felt so seen by you, and I just felt so heard. And I think that's where our friendship started many, many years ago. I'm a mom of two. I am a wife. And I'm a spiritual being, I guess. And I won't bore you with the career stuff, but I think right now I'm a seeker of God and just getting to know myself differently and getting to know myself more.
Oh, that was beautiful. That's beautiful. So one of the reasons I invited Sinazo today is, sis, you messaged me the one morning after listening to episode 2, and episode 2 was where we unpacked the kings. We are the kings. And there was a little piece where I asked about the dating experiences that I had had. And I remember after that first date, I actually sent you a voice note.
Yeah.
And I was like, what in the, is this really happening? And we had a dialogue about it, and you were like, no, these guys. And we were just flabbergasted. I think my one friend actually said, these are hobosexuals, not even, that's the term for them. And I was very in that space at the time. And when Tamara unpacked it for me, because I also, when it happened again, I had to ask myself, what is it in me that's attracting it? And the answer Tamara gave made a lot of sense in terms of how I was showing up and not being in trust and expecting the worst form of masculine to show up. On the other side, and this is what I'd like to start off with today, Tam, is it's an energy dance, right? So when I was reflecting on that episode as well, I realized that those two men also attracted me. Let's look at it from that perspective now. What were they attracting in finding me?
Good question. Thank you. Before we get started, it's really good to be back. All right, so I'm just going to do a simple recap. In our wholeness, we carry masculine energy and we carry feminine energy, each one of us. So the three of us sitting here are in feminine embodiment, so we also have masculine energy. Okay, and most of our work is not actually with our feminine embodiment, it is actually with our masculine energy. Because the masculine energy is also our unconscious selves. All right. So not to get too heavy into that, I am just going to throw something out. Imagine that everybody outside of you is a mirror of you. So if we are all merely vessels of God experiencing this reality, okay, and everybody outside of you is here to show you you. All right. So men arrive in our worlds and we experience rejection, or like your case, they don't show up financially and you are the one holding the space. All they are doing is showing you you. So if we have to look at it from that angle, now, what would be, if you had to say, what was the one thing he was showing you by not paying the bill or being there? What was he showing you? Let me give you an example. So for me, rejection is a very big part of dating, all of that. So step into these experiences and it's beautiful and it's nourishing and it's fulfilling, and then I always land up experiencing rejection. So if that person is merely here of service to show me me, now the core energy I'm experiencing here is rejection. So if I can look at that person and go, thank you very much, I now see that somewhere inside of me, I still hold deep rejection. So then I internalize that and I go, all right, Tam, so where inside of you are you still rejecting yourself? And I can give you a list. I can give you a list of aspects of me that I reject. So now the experience is, thank you very much for arriving into my world. Thank you for showing me how I reject myself. Because the whole point of life is for us to experience wholeness. So now I have these aspects of myself that I actually have to work with. I reject myself by not looking after myself physically. Amazing. Thank you very much. Now I can step into action of looking after myself physically. I reject myself by saying I will do something and I don't follow through. That is a rejection of myself. So, thank you. Now I'm aware of that. I do that to myself. Now I will be disciplined in actually following through on what it is I say I will do. So, what wouldn't the whole world change then? The whole concept of who it is we are, if we actually got to have a look at these beautiful gifts that arrive in our lives. And if you think about it, it's always the same wound or similar wounds that keep showing up. So if you are dating and if you are out in this world, or even it even happens in marriages, it's the same cycles over and over. We are here to experience our wholeness through each other. That's what relationships are. Relationships are gateways to actually show you yourself continually.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling to understand the lesson that was coming through then in terms of financially. But what's coming to my mind is not putting my money where my mouth is. I don't know why that's coming to me. Is not, saying a lot of things that I want to do and that I want to achieve, but then not following through on it or not backing it up substantially.
So let me ask you a question. Does that, when you went on that date, did you even arrive trusting that he would pay, trusting that the process would, or did you arrive on that date going, well, was there trust?
For the second one there was, which was so disappointing for me because we had the most amazing conversation. And funny enough, it was about masculine, feminine energy. We could relate on the plant medicine aspect of it. He was very spiritual, entrepreneur. I stalked him on Instagram, 7,000 followers. I was like, oh, okay, you know. Our own sports clothing line. I'm like, this guy is definitely going to show up. And he kind of pursued the date. And then when he said he had no cash, I was just completely confused. It didn't match the conversation. It didn't match the energy. It just, I dropped. I literally sunk because I was like, this cannot be happening.
Sis, what else is money about for you? What is them not being able to pay the date saying to you about yourself and what you believe?
Ooh, that's a good one. That I should be paying for myself, that I can't rely on someone to provide for me. This is something that's come up for you as well in the last week. And it's interesting because when I had to resign and follow my ex to Namibia, that was my biggest thing. I can't take his money. And he said to me, would it help? Oh, okay, wow, okay. Would it help if I gave you your own card? And you didn't have to ask me. You could just pretend that it was yours. And that did somehow help. That I didn't have to ask him for money.
So let me ask again, is there any trust in the masculine to actually keep you safe? I know, we sit here laughing, but you know, it's a serious feminine, like, you can speak to 99% of women and they will tell you they hold no trust. But now let's take it to that level of, okay, you're about to change so many things in your life. Okay, so what are you being called to do? Like, what is the biggest thing that's required from the decision you've made in your life today?
Trust.
You know, that's the most beautiful thing. Like, you know, with the past that I've lived with dating, the masculine, all of that kind of stuff, it's been painful. And it's been abusive, and it's been all of these things. But as soon as I realized this concept, I was just like, oh my goodness. So it's literally every man that comes into your life, you literally can turn around and go, thank you for giving me me. So if we can flip the whole thing around and actually look at it that way, you know, it's not just the things that are painful. You know, have you ever walked into like that, like, you know, dating or whatever, and you get that big love bubble where you feel so much love, so much passion, so much sensuality, and you're just like, oh, and you want to stay there. Even that is a thank you. They did not give that to you. What they gave you was an experience of you. The love you felt, the sensuality you felt, everything that was flooding through your being at that time was not something they went, oh, here. All that happened, it was activated inside of you because it exists inside of you. Just like they activated the, oh, I lack trust. So all everybody is ever doing is trying to bring us back into a state of wholeness. So God, the universe, is always of service to us for our wholeness, for balance. So all these beautiful things, when you love somebody deeply, it's not a case of that person giving you that love. It is a case of the experience of love is you. The experience of mistrust is you. It is always us. And that requires a radical responsibility. And the beautiful thing about this is, like with the trust thing, for example, is like when you realize that and you go, okay, I've got a big thing like happening now in my life, and what I'm required right now is to deeply trust myself. And you are disciplined in that trust, and you do literally surrender. And every step you take, you go, okay, I just breathe in and I trust, and you move forward in that. Eventually it just becomes a natural thing for you to trust. So now if trust becomes a natural state of being for you, do you think you need to bring another being into your world to show you? No. Because we are magnets. Literally, that's what we are. Our energy is a magnet for what is required for us to feel our wholeness, to feel our completion. So if I embody trust, then what I will bring into my world is trust. If I embody mistrust, then universe is just trying to find balance. It will bring mistrust in for you to actually be able to see yourself and go, oh, thank you. And then a beautiful part of this is, like, if you look at all your past lovers or relationships or whoever, you can actually look at them now and go, oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you for the gifts you were. Thank you for bringing me all of the gifts you brought. They were painful. I forgive you. Because now I realize all you were doing was showing me.
What I often find difficult, Tam, is that once you've gotten this lesson, so now it's trust, for Sis as an example, it's that building of the trust for me is, how do I get from mistrust to a place where I can safely say, I trust God to provide, I trust that I am held, I'm in that space now where I've learned the lesson. It's that transition that I struggle with.
I know, that's a really big one. And the way you've also worded it, like trusting God. Okay, and as I said the last time, like the trust for the feminine embodiment, it's the masculine trust, you know? Okay. So literally, it's a very big one, because it literally is a step day by day. And not just day by day, moment by moment. So literally an in-breath of...
I just saw that deep in-breath.
Because how beautiful is this, okay? When we breathe in, we are literally breathing in life, nourishment, love. Without the in-breath, we are not alive. So literally what we are breathing in when we breathe in is we are breathing in God. We are breathing in the universe. Okay, so now if we breathe deeply in and we go, thank you for the life. Thank you for the trust. Okay? And we can trust that life is holding us just by breathing. And then we take one step. And it's a whole new world. We don't know what it feels like to live in trust. Okay, it's a whole new world. So you take one step and you go, okay, what happens? And everything's okay. And then you breathe in and you go, okay, thank you. And then next time you'll take 2 steps. But if you've never known trust, it's literally, especially, and yes, the thing is, we are not asking to trust other people. What we are asking and what we are teaching ourselves right now is to trust me.
Ourselves.
Yes. If I am the vessel that all life moves through, means that the whole universe, all of God is moving through me. So I have to trust me. And it literally is, it's not a concept, like it is painful because everything in our lives have taught us that everything is outside of us. Okay. Now, and to even think about myself, you are arrogant, you are selfish, you are all of these things. Okay. So you've got all of these other belief systems that we built up over our lives that have created all of these identities. Now we're literally sitting in a space of the unknown. I am worthy, I'm whole, I'm complete. Do I even know what that feels like? Do I even know who I am?
No.
So it's really great feeling, because, and it's scary, but this is the person and the being that I really want to know. This is who I really want to experience. That wholeness, that completion, that just being free and being at peace. So It's like learning to walk again. It's just baby steps. And we slowly but surely, and once we've mastered trust, then something else might arrive and we'll go, okay, thank you. I'm going to master this one now.
It's interesting because today's, the new moon solar eclipse in Aries, and that is actually the theme, is about life choices, personal projects, and moving forward into something new without necessarily knowing what that is. So sis, I haven't told you, but on Tuesday I will resign. And you know how long that has been coming in terms of my purpose, but it was always the money again that kept me there. And then I thought to myself, but what makes me think I can't make double that amount doing what I love? And someone said to me this week, actually, she said in the Bible, says, please help us with the verse if you know it. No pressure. That you don't need an entity to provide for you. God provides, like He provides for the swallows and the flowers. And there's a beautiful verse in the Bible about that the swallow doesn't need to, struggle to find food, to build a nest. What is?
I think it's in Matthew where it talks about His eyes on the sparrow, and because of that He watches over me, that He clothes the flowers of the field, and if He cares so much about the birds, how much more does He care about you, so that you are taken care of, because everything that you need is already provided for.
And that was really a shift in my perspective. I was shopping in Woolworths the other day, and I was getting all these exotic fruits because Ben loves that, my son. And I was like, I had a moment of, I'm not going to be able to afford Woolies anymore. And then I was like, but what if I can double what I'm putting in the trolley right now? Why can't I think from that perspective? And I don't know what shifted. And maybe it was those December dates, but obviously not, isolated to that. But the tipping point of understanding my lack of trust in provision.
A really big thing, because it's been a really big part of my life, is creation, financial, abundance. But this is what I have come to realize, as my lack of trust in the universe denied me receiving. Literally denied me my breath. Okay? So until we can actually start working with that part of us that just trusts, the more we trust, the more we breathe in, the more we trust, the more we step into that action, the more we are actually opening up receiving. Because if I trust, then I can receive. That is why if we hold any rejection towards the masculine, okay, basically what we're doing is we are blocking our receptors. Okay. Always say the best way to actually open up receiving is to find gratitude for the masculine, for a woman. Because the universe for a woman is the masculine. So when we can start changing the way we look at this whole thing and start stepping into that trust and that discipline, radical responsibility for ourselves, we literally start opening up to receive. And when we can receive, then life just flows through us naturally. And if we think about it, what is life? What is the universe? What is God? It is abundant. Love, nourishment, nurture. Everything we require is here. We don't even have to go out and look for it. We just have to follow our heart's calling, be true to ourselves, be in integrity to ourselves, and just keep working on this energy within us and finding the gifts of even if the gifts look painful, but looking at them and going, oh, thank you, now I can release this. Then we become a clear vessel for life's energy just to move through us. And there is no scarcity in our world.
You know, on that, this friend Kagiso was talking about in a it wasn't a voice note, but she was talking about how there's a quote that the ocean doesn't care whether you bring a teaspoon or a bucket. All it is interested in is flowing. So if you come to life with the attitude of scarcity and believing that there isn't enough, you'll have abundant scarcity. There'll be plenty of things to prove to you just how scarce and how little you have. But if you come with the attitude and the openness of there is abundance of good, of resources, of what I need, then that's what you'll get plenty of. So I think that shift in your vision, sis, or that shift in your perspective is really big, because that also allows or creates the space, as Tammy was saying, to receive. And I love how you're always talking about gratitude. You know, just thank you for this lesson, and because I think also gratitude opens up the door to receiving, because it's now space for more.
You know, one of the most beautiful things, and it hit home so hard for me, was often when things were really hard, used to get on my knees and literally, I actually used to get angry with God and go like, you've forgotten me, you know? And as the journey's gone along, it's like, we literally feel like we've been forgotten. And what are we doing here, you know? But what if none of us are a mistake? What if we are all chosen? What if we are all these beautiful vessels here to experience God, to experience the universe moving through us? What if we really are just chosen? It changes the whole concept. Changes the concept of everything. Like you were saying, there is no right or wrong in the universe. If you want to believe that there is not enough, then that is what the experience will be.
You know, for me, it was for a long time a sense of safety, an illusion of safety, because if I don't expect big things, I don't have to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And it came after a lot of traumatic events in my life, I think, where I was like, I can't trust anymore. You know, losses, you know, my brother's losses, and then my dad suddenly, I think that was the biggest trigger, because it was like, you know, all the men are gone. And for a long time I was like, if this can be taken away so easily, I'd rather not rely on it. And Brene Brown explains it so beautifully in the study that she did on vulnerability. She said the people that are open the most to being vulnerable are those that are able to lean into joy with trust.
Yep.
You know, when you're having a good day and everything's okay with your family and everyone's healthy, and then you're like,
when's the other shoe gonna drop?
Yeah. It's being able to sit in the joy and not worried or wondering about when it's going to be pulled out from under you.
I love that talk. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Here's another beautiful thing about bliss. We chase happiness. We chase heaven. Okay?
Exactly.
All right. So what if we could get ourselves into a place where right now I am laughing, and it's, you know, from the bottom of my soul I'm laughing and it's loud. And then about half an hour later I am crying my eyes out. What if the two experiences actually were measured up the same way? Could those tears not be as blissful as my laughter? Because those tears are allowing me to release something. Is that not as important as the laughter? And we often don't allow ourselves bliss because we think it has to look like love only. or like laughter only. It's like relationships, okay? A beautiful relationship is two people that can actually look at each other and go, okay, you are my portal, I am your portal, and whatever is sitting inside of our being that needs to be brought to light, that needs to be brought to love, is going to come up. Now you look at each other. What if you could just, everything that comes up is just loved, and you can turn around and go, thank you for showing me that about myself. Now I know I need to work on this. Thank you for that. And now I need to know I need to work on this. And that is the wholeness. That is the bliss of the relationship. Instead of chasing what a relationship should look like, and that it needs to be happy and loving and all of that all the time. What if the foundation of it was just the deepest gratitude and respect that we are growing together, being portals to one another, so that we can both be whole in this relationship?
I suppose, Tam, it's what hit me with your previous, with episode 2, I think it was, is that I find that I don't always have the tools to recognize what it is I'm being taught in the moment. I don't have the tools to say, I'm upset, or I am upset. I rather say you are upsetting me. So it's what you were saying about being responsible, or being able to respond to situations, or even taking responsibility for yourself, because we've been taught so often to outsource not just our feelings, but who we are, and externalize everything. So it's now difficult to look at a relationship and say, what is this moment teaching me about myself? I feel betrayed by this person. So it's not I feel betrayed, it's this person has betrayed me. They are untruthful. They're such liars. We externalize everything. And I think that's probably why it's so difficult to learn lessons from other people about yourself. We project, we externalize, we don't really take the moment to say, hang on, but which part of this is about me? So if I have a fight with my husband, I'm focused, I'm fixated on all the stuff that he's doing and he's saying, and that it's him. I'm the right one here. And even if I accept elements of being wrong, it's still not truly about me. It's okay, I was wrong in doing this little part, but everything else is you. And I just find that for a lot of us, we struggle with that transition of really identifying that nugget that we can walk away and say, I've learned something about myself that I can then improve on. And if anything, I think we tend to then, can I say, make shallow apologies. Now we've had the fight, we've had that, okay, let's restore peace. And we kind of want to move into that so quickly that we don't get to the root or the essence of the lesson we need to learn.
Yeah, we did do that. I found the greatest tool for me is this. What we want to avoid the most is I feel. Because if you think about it, you just feel that feeling, like if you are in an argument, say with your husband. I feel the energy kind of stops here at your heart, okay? But you don't want to go further. You don't want to feel it in your gut, because you know that's where it's going to hurt, So often just starting, let's say use betrayal as an example, is I feel betrayed, okay? And you just start writing. Writing is one of the most beautiful ways to actually get and empty out what it is you are dealing with. Just start. You just got to start with, I feel betrayed. It feels heartsore. You can even write there and go, you can blame him. You can take out all your anger on him in your writing. Okay. And you empty out everything you are feeling. I feel hurt. I feel unworthy. I feel belittled. I feel. You just keep writing, I feel. And you'll often find that sometimes in some situations it goes to rage even. But you just keep writing. By the end, when you have actually emptied out everything you feel, what you're going to sit with is a sadness. And what you will find that sadness to be is that you betrayed yourself. whatever else is sitting down there that you are actually too scared to go and find is. So say a partner betrayed me. If I have to write down everything over and over and I feel, what I am left with at the end is I knew the point where this was coming, because at this point I betrayed myself. I played small. I allowed things to happen. I did not speak my truth in a moment. So in the end, it always comes back to us. But what are the tools? The tools are, we've got to get over our rightness, because what rightness is protection.
Yeah.
I am protecting my heart. But in protecting my heart, I am not allowing my whole being to feel. So if we can take rightness out of this and just get a book and literally sit and write and write and write, and eventually you will sit there and you'll be like, oh, okay, I did betray me. And it might be 6 months ago, it might have been yesterday. Yesterday, this is actually what I felt, and I chose not to speak my truth. So in the end, the only thing and the only being we are ever discovering is ourselves. Whether our partner is there or not, they are just a portal to continually discover ourselves. I look at so many relationships that I have been in that I betrayed myself over and over, that I actually look back now, like we were discussing before this, is my marriage, is no matter how that turned out, is he didn't know who he was loving. As I didn't know who. I didn't know who I was. So he was loving a whole bunch of identities, but who was I in that? And what I was in that was numb. I had no idea. I had no feeling. I didn't know who I was, and it was just numbness. So who was he loving? Who was I loving? I definitely wasn't loving me. So how much of us are we bringing our authentic selves to the table for people to love? Or are we giving them pieces of us and protecting ourselves? So if you want to experience love, and how much of it are we pushing away because we are protecting ourselves? So if we could remove the protections, just be that vulnerable mess, authentic self that doesn't actually know, now you're giving love an opportunity to flourish. And when love starts flourishing in your being, all these things of mistrust, of betrayal, of all of these things just start pouring out, so that we can experience love fully and feel ourselves fully.
Tam, I'm reflecting on the thing that came up when you said, when you were speaking just now, is safety. Is it safe to truly be yourself? I'm thinking about another thought I had is the number of women that I've spoken to of late that basically abandon themselves when they come into relationship in order to be loved. And I think you mentioned it in the last podcast when you were talking about how we prostitute ourselves in order to receive. So essentially betraying ourselves in order to become this version that is lovable to another, because it feels as though our value or our worth is only seen in relationship with other versus relationship with ourselves. So I almost feel like we get to a space of betraying ourselves or even neglecting ourselves, because as long as I have this person that loves me, then all is well with the world. And woe is me if I'm alone or single or by myself, because it means it's a clear signal to everyone that looks at me that I'm unlovable. And slowly but surely we begin to let go of who we are until we get to the space where we don't know what are the things that we love, what are the things that make us unique, what are the things that make us whole, because we've spent so much time molding ourselves into the version that will be most received, most loved, most accepted.
I love that you brought this up, because this has been a very big part of my journey, but it sits with the feminine. if you think about it, we're born into a male-dominant world where...
Yeah.
Okay, so as woman, man is king. Okay, and patriarchy hasn't helped and all of that stuff, but not doing the victim thing, yeah? But those are our deep unconscious beliefs, and those are the structures of the planet. Okay, so whether we like it or not, it's here.
That's the matrix.
It's what it is. All right. But radical responsibility now happens, and we start looking at ourselves. All of these structures are sitting in our masculine energy. All right. So without a man, you are nobody. That was the hardest thing for me when I got divorced. And it's been 10 years later, and it's like, there must be something wrong with me because I don't have a man in my life, you know?
Don't look at me, I'm somebody.
Exactly. But inside of me, it was gut-wrenching. I even believed I was nobody without a man in my life. So these structures go so deep inside of us. So now if that is your masculine energy, that I am nobody without the masculine, okay, and we're continually walking around trying to pull a masculine into our lives to make us worthy, and it just doesn't happen. We'll end up with all of these dates, these experiences that just keep showing us ourselves. Okay, so now let's remove the physical masculine. Now let's have a look at this relationship with our own masculine. So if I start changing the relationship with my own masculine and I start building trust, I start building that union. Like it's literally a marriage inside of me with my own masculine. I start building integrity. I start building. So for me, what it feels like when I talk about my own masculine energy, it's my spine. It's my backbone. It's the integrity and the discipline to me, to nourish and nurture and look after this woman and love her for her emotions, for her pain, for her tears, for everything. Because when I can do that, and I have my own backbone, and I have my own integrity, it means I can soften into just being a woman. So it doesn't mean I am making my masculine energy stronger. It doesn't mean I want to go out and fight. It just means that my backbone is now, I trust me. I have integrity to me. I am disciplined for me, because this woman is the most valuable thing and the most beautiful experience I can ever have. And she is the only experience I can offer this world. She is the only experience I can offer my lover. That is all I have to offer. So what is the relationship with our masculine? How do we feel safe? We feel safe with being in integrity to ourselves. If I say I'm going to eat healthy today, then eat healthy. Trust me. If I say I'm going for a walk, go for a walk. That is how I build trust. That is how I care for me. That is how I build my own backbone. And the more I do that, the more I'm nurturing me, the more I can soften into just being a woman.
And what does that look like in its fullness?
It's okay.
You know, I'd love to say that I have the answer.
You're looking at it.
What I do know is that I am loving the mess of being this woman, being central, being soft, discovering how I create, discovering trust, discovering all these beautiful things. So the curiosity about me and loving this, because I don't know what everything is. I haven't discovered everything yet. And every day I discover more of her. Every day I get to love her more. Every day when she cries, I love her even more. So what does it look like? I can say I've seen women walking and they radiate. And I'm hoping that's what it looks like. Not some pretty picture, not some good girl. Just a beautiful, soft, vulnerable mess that honors herself.
You know what's interesting about this? When you say discovering yourself and trust. Because the first thing my manager asked me was, what are you going to do? And I didn't know. I don't know. I haven't had the headspace to think about it yet. But I've come to that place where I'm trusting myself enough to know that I will know. And yeah, so it's just, it's interesting that you say that, because I literally have no idea what's coming next. And it's scary, but I'm also excited to see who I'm going to discover within me and the parts of myself that I've been keeping quiet for so long.
I must confess, sis, you threw me when you said you were living in your masculine. You're one of the softest women I know. And I thought, if Sarika is living in a masculine, what happens to the rest of us?
She is. She's one of the softest, most sensual beings I know.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So in touch. And I thought, the system is rigged.
Yeah.
What did I mean when I said, I meant I was forcing it. And then Tam helped me realize I was actually rejecting my own masculine energy.
You know, women become steps into her masculine, and I know this because of myself, is we become very masculine when we are physically protecting ourselves. So it means basically what we're doing is we are rejecting our own masculine energy. So when we are in protection, it means we are rejecting. So the more I can embrace and love my own masculine energy, the more I can soften into my feminine.
When you guys last spoke, one of the things that you kept talking about was being mothers of boys, right? And I've got a son and a daughter. And I think one of the things that's so important for me is teaching my daughter to live in her feminine from the get-go. She's 12. And the last thing, turning 13 this year, sis. And the last thing that I want is for her to only have to wake up in her 40s or her 30s. I'd love to teach her, to help her to connect with all of her feminine self, but maybe to create that balance within of the masculine and the feminine so she can know who she is as she's growing up. So she doesn't have to pander to what good looks like or what the idea of what a good woman should be doing or shouldn't be doing, and all of that stuff that we kind of learn and kind of drag with ourselves as we grow up and then have to unlearn later. If you've got any tools, Tam, I'd really love to share with her, or at least to bring her up in a way that she's comfortable and knows her feminine self.
If you think about it, we're talking about trust again. My niece is 17 and she is one of my favorite humans because the two of us sit and this is how we talk at 17. I wish I knew what she knows at 17. But the difference between her and I, she teaches me a lot actually, is if you think about us in childhood, is children were seen and not heard, okay? There was never a, were you going to turn around and say to your father, no?
My Zulu friend said that to me the other day. Dumisani was like, my daughter said no. I was like, how dare you challenge your father?
I know. So look at that. Simply, how dare you challenge your father? Okay. That statement alone.
Yeah, he was thinking it, thank goodness. No.
Is if we don't have a voice and we are not safe and free to go no, what we were taught is whatever your father says is word. That is how it goes. Whether it's good for you or isn't good for you, it doesn't really matter.
When you said that, I just thought of the Bible, Father and Word.
So at what point were you ever allowed to establish any kind of worth, any kind of trust in yourself? No. All your trust was given to your father.
Or any grown-up around.
Yes.
2 years older than you. They were old enough to boss you around.
100%. Any adult. There was never a space where we could go, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to come along. Those were not even options. So in raising our children, is in raising them and actually going, do you want to, would you like to, is actually allowing them back to I feel, I want, I desire, like into their own bodies.
Wow.
Not being told how it is, that they literally surrender everything that it is they are.
Sure. It's such a challenge to me. I don't know, sis, if you feel the same, but we're caught in the two worlds, right? We're caught between allowing our children to express themselves and to be who they want to be, and how we were raised of you listen to the grown-ups and you listen to adults and you don't challenge me beyond a certain point, and kind of how to, it almost feels like how to raise responsible adults. But to your point, it is a lack of trust. Is that if I let you to your own devices, then I don't trust that you will become a responsible adult. So I need to create those boundaries and guardrails and, discipline and, as opposed to trusting that we're held and that you will be responsible and able to respond appropriately.
My whole thing is, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect mother, far from it. But I've always looked at it this way, is that my child is a being on his own.
Yeah.
He's not mine. I've just been given this beautiful being to keep safe in this world. That's all I've been given. But his rules, his journey, his everything is totally different to mine. So the only thing I can really do is I can observe and watch him grow and blossom and discover himself. And literally all I can do is hold a safe environment for him to actually blossom and discover himself. Like we had an experience the other day where it was a full lie straight in my face, And I sat there, and the natural thing, like for us, Jesus, if you didn't lie, that would have been a
clap.
Yeah.
Backhand.
So I literally had to walk away because I wanted to react naturally the way I know, and then come back. And then we had to have the discussion of, all right, I know you are lying, so let's have this discussion. Can you see the consequences this is? So I laid it all out for him, and I said, now that you've got everything, what is it you choose? And he said, I didn't know, Mom. So I said, I know you didn't know, and that's okay. But what is it you choose now? And then he chose. So there is a lot about our past, there is a lot of it. But if you have to ask yourself the question, what is it I want more than anything? I want to just be authentically me and discover me. And I just want to be held safe while I'm discovering me. And is that not what we are here as our children's guardians? That's all we are. We are just guardians.
To hold space.
To hold space.
It's interesting because Maya and I have had a tumultuous relationship. And she's such a free spirit. Tam, you know Maya. You know Maya. From birth, she was born with this red triangle on her forehead, and I knew, okay, this is a special one. And she channels, and she does what she wants to do. She climbs trees, and she, chooses or shops in the boys' clothing section. And I realized why she triggers me so badly is she's a reflection of what I could not be. And I found myself disliking her for it. Like, how can you be so free? Stop it. And then I realized I'm actually just being triggered by how open she is and how trusting she is of who she is.
How beautiful, because if you think about it, everything she is you.
Oh, wow.
Like, everything she is, she just does so naturally because she's a child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if we really have to look at it, that is you. You are as free, as vivacious, as same. Like when I see Maya, I just see you. So yes, it would be triggering because she's kind of going, okay, Mom, are you ready? It's that mirror thing again, you know? 100%. It's just, she's just got, and our children are a big mirror. Because they won't tolerate our stuff, really. They're like, okay, come, let's go. So yeah, it's really actually beautiful. Life is actually really fascinating. Like if we actually just curious and actually just see that we are continually being held.
Tam, I'm looking at the time, and I'm just wondering, there's another topic I wanted to go into with you today, and it's really been, I've really been struggling with this, what's playing out on the world stage. And you know how you said that our unconscious is actually a reflection of what's happening in the collective unconscious, right? And you mentioned it in the context of patriarchy, and that sits deep within our subconscious, as Carl Jung would say, because it's sitting in the collective unconscious. But what I'm feeling surfacing now, and I don't know if it's because it's surfacing to be healed, but this concept of misogyny, and I've seen like the Netflix documentaries lately, adolescence, she said, some of our world leaders, what's happening in Palestine. How do you approach energy like that when you are faced with it? And even in the microcosm of a corporate environment.
Okay. I am not going to comment on what is going on in the world because I choose not to actually focus on it, and not because I think it's negative. The way I view things, I had a mentor once and he said to me, how do you change the war in the world? And I don't have a clue, and he told me, you change the war within. And that has been the most beautiful, that was like the opening doorway for me. So everything we are talking about the divine union within us, okay, everything we are doing, everything comes back to us, okay. So what I mean by that, and the reason I don't go into all the news and into everything, is the more peace and freedom I can bring into me, the more of a light I shine in this world, okay? The more love I send out into this world, okay? The more everything, the more clarity, the more I can look at myself, the more I can set my wounds free and just embody love. Every footstep I take on this planet changes the frequency of this planet. Every person I share with, every person I come into contact with, it changes the frequency. So the only responsibility I have is literally my own energy and my frequency. And the more of us are doing that, the faster it spreads. And the more we are changing everything in the world. But going into fight, going into all of these things, literally how I feel, and this is only my perspective, the reason that we are actually seeing everything that's going on is because more of us are embodying love. More of us are embodying this frequency, just like what's happening to humans at the moment. What is happening is we are literally purging out our wounds. Lifetimes and lifetimes of wounds, we are setting it free. So the frequency, it's exposing. So the chaos that the world is experiencing, for me, what is happening, we are actually busy purging deep, deep unconscious things of humanity, of this whole planet. So what does that mean? It actually means that we are setting things free. So it actually means that love is actually pushing through and clearing things out. That is my belief. So hence for me the most important thing is what am I holding? Because when I sit here and talk to you, am I holding love? When I talk to you, is it love? When I go to the shops today, can I spread love? Can I smile? Can I bring kindness, everything that I would love in this world? If I don't embody it, then what am I doing? I'm part of the problem. Am I going to purge my pain? Am I going to purge my unconscious beliefs? That is where my responsibility lies.
I love that word, responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and charity begins at home, right? I kind of knew. When I asked the question, I was like, oh. Because it does start with me and my vibration and my frequency.
Think about it this way. If we had to sit here and have this conversation and we had to look at what's going on in the world, wow, that we could talk forever. And then we can bring it even down to the problems with our children and our dating and our husbands and we make it all about the external world. Okay, it's huge. We can sit and moan and complain and. But in the end, if we are doing all of that, what am I avoiding?
It's a distraction.
It's an absolute distraction. I'm avoiding feeling.
Working with me, yeah.
And here's another beautiful thing, okay? What happens is when you start feeling this love moving through you and this life moving through you, you drive around and you actually see beauty. You see beauty.
The lens changes.
The total lens changes. Everything changes. Even when your best friend's sitting there and they got snot and tears and they're crying and they're having a good bitch about their husband or the pain they're in or whatever, you see beauty because you see the wound literally setting itself free that she can be able to express and feel. You start seeing beauty in that. So, from the inside out.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
That was a beautiful conversation. I could sit here with you the whole day. Is there anything you want to add in closing, Sinazo?
Besides a thank you to both of you ladies for inviting me into the space, I think my biggest takeout from today are the tools of really just getting to feeling. I think I came in with a little bit of a, women are always held responsible. Why do women have to do all the work? It's so unfair. And I think this last part of just focus on you. Just you do the work that you've got to do and it'll radiate out. For me, is just such a freeing thing, right? It's such a liberating notion because ultimately, who was it that said, we are the ocean in a drop. So, or we are a drop of the ocean. Either one is true. But if we believe that we're the embodiment of God just in ourselves, the things that we can change, because it does make us able to respond. It does give us responsibility, and that responsibility gives us power. And I think so many times we want to run away from power because it's got all of these negative negative connotations. But ultimately, when you're able to step into that power, you're able to step into that space where you own who you are, you're able to use the world as your mirror and use your relationship as a mirror. And that shifts you closer and closer, can I say, to your divinity.
I love that.
Something we run away from.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
Tim?
I just want to say thank you. I love sharing. I love this energy moving. So thank you to both of you.
Thank you too. I think the biggest takeout for me today, or reminder, is, and it's something my coach asked me when I was doing this coaching course now, about the decision I've made, and she said, what's in it for your kids? And I think it comes back to what you said about your daughter, is I want Maya to see that I trust myself and that I'm doing what's right for me and living my purpose, because it gives her the permission to live hers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's what you can do, you know. We always think it has to be something you do, but it's just something you are and be that they can see. Oh, so emotional. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please share your comments and questions and anything really that you'd like to share in the chat with us. Sending love.